What's up, everyone? Got a book haul for you. It's been a while. I haven't been on for about a year now. I'm back, finally. I'm back to the channel. I'll be uploading regularly. I'm going to do another video about where I've been, what's been going on with me, but we'll save that for another time. I want to get into this book haul. I was at a couple of thrift stores recently, got some good books, and we're going to go through them here, so let's do it. Number one is The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett. The reason I picked this up, I basically jumped for joy in the Goodwill when I saw this book. That's exactly what I did. I've wanted to start this series for a long time, this Discworld. I know that there are more installments in this fantasy series than any other fantasy series. I think there's like 50 or 60 or 70 of these things. I don't know anything about it, don't know what to expect concerning the world or the characters or the author at all, but I finally got my hands on The Color of Magic, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to enjoy this one. A lot of people say that the first installment is the weakest in the series, but I'm totally in for it, and I have a feeling that this is going to be one of my new favorite series. Anxious People by Frederick Backman. This is the second one that I've got. I read a couple of Frederick's books. I read A Man Called Ove that I thought was really, really good. I know it's a polarizing book. I loved Ove. I thought it was a really touching, emotional novel. And I also read a novella by this author. Can't remember what the name of it was, but it was about a grandfather that had Alzheimer's disease. It was a touching piece as well, and I expect that this will be right in the same kind of line as those. Anxious People by Frederick Backman. About 6 years ago, I was not much of an epic fantasy reader. Of course, I loved the Dark Tower series. I've read those novels so many times now. But I've been getting into it more and more over the last 6 years. I'm now into Brandon Sanderson. I'm on the 5th installment in the Wheel of Time series. And that brings me to this novel that I've wanted to read for a long time now, for the last few years. It's called The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. Now, I like to go into these epic fantasies not doing a lot of research on them for fear of spoilers. No idea what this one's about, but I know that readers of epic fantasy really love this one. I've had it recommended to me so many times. I finally got the first book. This was a great book haul for me. I went into the Goodwill, haven't been here in probably at least a year because I haven't been reading much. I'm looking forward to talking about where I've been and why I haven't been reading. This has been the slowest year for me as far as reading books goes. I think I've completed 12 books now. I'm currently reading The Haunting of Hill House, which I'm loving. I can't wait to review it. I will review that shortly here on the channel, guys. I'm also going into this book that I borrowed from the library, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which strangely enough I know nothing about. Never saw any of the adaptations with this. Don't know anything about it other than it's kind of a psychedelic fantasy trip into another world. At least I think that's what it is. But The Lies of Loch Lamora. I'm not going to make the mistake of starting this before I finish the Wheel of Time series, but I've got it here. I expect that I'll probably start this one maybe late next year, if it is indeed the next fantasy story that I choose to go on with. I love Alastair Reynolds. He's a science fiction author. I love his Revelation space books. But there's another science fiction author that writes more of a military sci-fi series, this Honor Harrington set of books. I've seen people reading these. I've always wanted to read one. So I kind of picked one out at random here. There were quite a few of these in the bin. Don't know what order these things go in, but this is called The Short Victorious War. And I know it's an Honor Harrington book because her name's on the back of it. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm not really big into the military sci-fi genre. At least I think I'm not. I don't think I have any experience with those. But I will shortly here. I'm finally going to get into my first David Weber novel. About 6, 7, 8 years ago, I read a book, which I have a paperback copy of here, called Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind. I thought it was a reasonably good fantasy novel, and I made the epic mistake of going into the second book in that story, The Tears of Stone, and I kind of burned out on it. I tried to read them back to back. They're really long books. I want to get back into this Sword of Truth series in due time. So I want to kind of collect these as I can. It's called Blood of the Fold. I intend to go back, read Wizard's First Rule again, go on with the Stone of Tear book, and then I'll have the third piece here, Blood of the Fold, which I expect that I will enjoy in due time when I get back around to it. And I will not make the mistake this time of trying to read these massive novels straight through. So those are the fiction pieces that I picked up. I have a few nonfiction pieces here as well. I've got this one. I started it the other day, not really sure what I'm going to think of this thing. It's by a woman named Rhonda Byrne. It's called The Secret. And I think it's kind of in the line of maybe Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. Not really sure if I'm going to like this, if I'm going to finish it, but I am going to go on with a few more chapters here in this book. Let me know, guys, down in the comments. If you've read this, if you know anything about it, let me know what you think, because I'm not really sure if I'm vibing with this book yet or not, but I'm also not ready to give up on it quite yet. This one is by a guy named Albert Schweitzer. It's called The Quest of the Historical Jesus. Now, this might seem a little weird that I'm into this reading topic, but you might be surprised to find out that biblical history is one of my most read topics that I've picked up books on. I've read so many of these things. I've read Bart Ehrman. I like Richard Carrier. This one, I believe, is a mythicist take on the subject. I did not know that that was true when I picked it up. I thought it was a historicist take on the subject, but I'll be happy to read it nonetheless. The Quest of the Historical Jesus by Albert Schweitzer. And finally, guys, I picked this up, was excited on this one. It's called Guitar, From Bach to Rock. Everything you need to know to master your favorite instrument. About 3 years ago or so, I tried to take up guitar. Worked at it for a while, gave up on it. I think I had unrealistic expectations when I started with guitar. Thought I was going to be Jimi Hendrix in 6 months. I was sure that I was going to put in the practice time. I was going to work hard at it. And I burned out pretty quickly. However, I am back at it again. I bought myself a Fender Stratocaster. Let me grab it and show it. Here it is, my new Fender Stratocaster. I really like this. Man, does this guitar feel good compared to what I'm accustomed to using. I had a couple cheap guitars before. This one is really nice. I've always wanted a guitar that says Fender on it. And I have more realistic expectations. Actually, here's another book that I'm reading that I borrowed from the library. Guitar Theory, The Complete Idiot's Guide to Guitar Theory, which is a book that was written exactly just for me. And I'm enjoying that. I think that I'm going to take my time with this. I have better vision for what I want to accomplish with this. And I'm having a lot more fun with it now that I don't have this unrealistic expectation and all this pressure on me. Just trying to have as much fun with it as I can for now. And perhaps, if I become competent with the instrument, I'll do a video and post it here on the channel maybe in the near future. And there you have it. I am back, finally, guys. I'm looking forward to getting back into my hobby here of filming these videos. I'm looking forward to reviewing The Haunting of Hill House, which is a book that's perfect for the season. I will have the review up before Halloween. A book that I'm really enjoying. I was kind of surprised by it. I thought it would be a dated novel, but it really is just a smooth read for me. But we'll get into that. We'll get into all that. This was kind of a rushed video. I feel I'm a little rusty here on my video shooting capabilities, but I am glad to be back. I'll be getting into some more Stephen King. Bev Vincent wants to come back on the show. Been putting him off forever now because I haven't felt well, but I'm well. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.